Quantum. So, how are you, Thokozani? Kindly please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay, I'm Thokozani. I'm a writer. So I've written 4 books currently, and Dreams in the Quantum is my latest book. And I mostly write fiction, and I also write some poetry. I've got some poetry books, and I also have a kiddies book titled Lost Letter. That's currently in 4 languages, and I'm currently in the process of translating it into the other official languages of South Africa. So currently, the kiddies one is available in English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Xhosa, and Sepedi.
Lovely, lovely. So, before we get started on reviewing your book, kindly tell us about your writing journey. How did you start writing?
Okay, I was inspired by the novels that I did at school for educational purposes. Then I thought, okay, I think I can also give this a try since I also like telling stories.
Lovely.
So
When was that?
my first book was released in 2012. It was
Mhm.
titled The A Student, but then I had to re-release it because of the keyword student. So it was classified as an educational book, and it was actually not an educational book. So I had to re-release it with a new title, and I titled it Twisted. So that
Lovely.
was my debut novel. Yeah.
So, tell us how many books you've released and how one can get them.
Yeah, so currently I've released 4 hard copy books. It's Twisted, Lost in Love,
Lost in Love.
The Holiday, and then Dreams in a Quantum, and then the Kiddies one as well. So you can get my books. So the all the titles are available on all major bookstores. Your exclusive books, Take a Lot, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Take a Lot. They are all there. So I'm still in the process of getting Dreams in a Quantum into those platforms as well. So Dreams in a Quantum is currently available directly from me, either as a hard copy or as a PDF.
Okay, so are you self-published or are you traditionally published?
It's self-published. All the titles are self-published.
How is it like being a self-published author in the industry?
It is a bit, I'd say it's a bit difficult, but I'm enjoying it because what I found with the traditional publishers is that they publish seasonal books. So they tell you that
Mm.
no, at this current point in time, we're looking for a book that will uh, have a storyline that's this in this manner. So in that way, it would not be my story per se, but they would be channeling you to write in a certain way. And then there are things that they might cut from your book and say,
Mm-hmm.
no, it won't be good for their market and stuff. So your story ends up being diluted. Whereas as a self-published author, you have all the freedom to tell your story as raw as it is.
Yeah, that's one lovely thing about being a self-published author. So what has been the most fun part about being an author so far?
So being an author so far, the fun part has been when I'm getting a new reading base. So people that are not in my close circle, be it my friends or colleagues. So when it's someone else that's actually buying your book and then they're giving you feedback and saying how much your book has touched them or how much they've enjoyed it. So that means a lot to me.
Lovely. So let's talk about your latest published book, Dreams in a Quantum. What inspired you to write a book with the female markers of all the things?
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I wrote that book is first I wanted to show the taxi industry in another view because mostly it's known as a bad industry. So I wanted to show that there are good things that are happening in that industry. And me using a female as a marker was to show that if there's something that you believe in, then there's nothing that can actually stop you. So boundaries are only mental. So the moment you overcome those boundaries in your head, then you've won the battle.
Lovely. And we did see Dombi crossing boundaries that even people that she found there haven't like crossed, because everybody had this stereotype like taxi drivers are not educated, this and that. How was it like writing all of that?
Yeah, so there is that stereotype that says people in the taxi industry are not actually educated. So what I was also trying to show in this book, as you can also attest to that, is that education is important, but success cannot be defined by just education only. So you can be successful without having graduated. So that's what I wanted to show, and also to show that some people might be in the taxi industry, but they are educated, as we find the current unemployment rate in South Africa, that now you can even find a graduate being a cleaner at a mall or at a store, but that does not mean they are not educated. It's that they are educated, but in order for them to put some food on their plate, they've chosen to become a cleaner whilst they're waiting for that career they've qualified in.
True. And I really loved how you portrayed the should I call it maybe financial managing, that sometimes it doesn't matter how educated you can be, but if you cannot manage your finances, you will always remain poor. I really loved how you layered that out, because we saw how Umzi was like, you are a taxi driver, you never have anything. I'm educated and I can borrow money from the bank. How was it like writing that?
Yeah, so when I put that idea across, I wanted to show that at times, especially the middle class, they find themselves trapped in the rat race to say, in order for you to get such credit, you need a credit score. And to get a credit score, the rat race forces you to get credit to qualify for more credit. So you actually end up being stuck in the system that it's hard for you to get out of that system, because if you want to buy this, you need to make debt to get it. And then to get the next bigger thing, you need to create more debt. So that's what I wanted to show there.
Yeah, and you really did get the point across, and it was lovely seeing it in a story. And I loved how you included native. Um, am I saying it right? I mean, like our local language. I love how you used it. It had that sense of home, when you switched from English to our home language. I really love that. And I feel like the humor really came out the best when you used our home language, because you're like, okay, we seeing our people, and taxi drivers really speak like this. So, did you feel like you had to translate the home language to English to accommodate everybody?
So from my side, I mostly write in English, but for this particular book, as we're saying, we talking about the taxi industry. So I wanted it to be as original as possible. So it would be awkward for me to write the conversations they were having at the taxi rank in English. It wouldn't be authentic. So I
Yeah,
wanted
it
it to
wouldn't
be
hit the
authentic
same.
as possible. Yeah.
It wouldn't hit the same, because there was this time when Dombi was at the taxi rank, and I can't remember his name, but he was like bullying her. He's like Shayala. And I'm like, if you put that in English, it won't hit the same, you
Yeah,
know?
it wouldn't make sense if I had written it in English. So hence even the names of the characters, mostly in the taxi industry, I was using their traditional names rather than their Christian names so that everyone can relate. And as you can see with the names, like the guy that said Shala, it's Bubesi. So it's most probably a nickname that they gave him at the taxi rank rather than his
Yeah.
biological name. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just read the comments for you quickly. Tamia is saying that's my uncle right there. And KB is saying I also loved how they included how you included the indigenous language. Oh, my phone just froze. Okay. Penny is saying, I'm not a bookworm, but I love Chris's sense of humor. Yeah, the sense of humor, the humor was very good. It was very good, and it was hitting good because it was in the home language, even the conversation with Ubaba no Mam Kumalo, I love that it had that sense of home. Okay, the adults, obviously, they're not going to speak in English when it's just the two of them, things like that. So let's talk about Umtunes. Do you think the city corrupted him or it just revealed a part of him that was hidden?
Yeah, with Tunzi, it's a catch-22 situation. So when he was still in the village, we saw him as this young man that went through everything to get Ntombi. And even when they got to Joburg, he was prepared to do everything for Ntombi. So I think when he got to Joburg and he saw the city lights, that's when he started thinking otherwise and getting with the wrong crowd that influenced him to say the industry that he knew, the taxi industry, was no more good enough. And he's the one that took Ntombi to the taxi industry. But now, because he had gone to a firm, he wanted Ntombi to sort of be like his piggy to follow him everywhere. So when Ntombi stood her ground, that's when he felt as if he was being disrespected. So I think to an extent he was intimidated by Ntombi's will and independence.
And he felt like she no longer needed him
Yes,
anymore.
and
And
that's what led to him. Well, I won't use that as an excuse for him to cheat, but from his side, he was in a position to use that now.
yeah. And I also feel like the crowd that he was around influenced that, because when we look at his brother was like a man that follows a woman, things that are just against women. And then his colleague is like, inkomo idlala eboshelwe khona. When those negative things that has somebody questioning everything that they know. Do you feel like they also played a part in corrupting him? Sorry.
Yes, so at the end of the day, I think it's up to an individual whether you want peer pressure to get to you. But I agree that the people that he was around did influence him, like his brother. So he's always looked up to his brother. So when your brother starts making you feel as if what you're doing is not the right thing, then the pressure will be there. Hence, he started doing the things he was doing.
So do you think Ndombi and Tunzi would have been happy had he not cheated? Do you think their relationship would have survived?
Yes, I think Tombi, because of the way she was brought up and that notion of umfazi uyabekezela and stuff, so he was prepared to endeavor through his cheating. But I think what broke the back was when Mtunzi started laying his hands on her several times. That's when she decided that this was it. And on the other side, Gazi on the other side was treating her so well as a friend initially. So that's what led to Ntombi thinking that it's either I leave this relationship alive or I leave it as a flop.
Yeah, and another thing that she was thinking about, she was thinking of her child, you know. I feel like women have this mindset that they don't want multiple children from different fathers. So I think that is what kept her there. At first she was like, no, but I wouldn't want my child to grow up fatherless. And one of things like that.
Yeah, so that was her intention. She didn't want to have, as they say in the rural areas, choice assorted biscuits. So she just wanted to have one flavor, but then at the end of the day, it is what it is. She had to move on, not only for her sanity, but also for the child.
Yeah, very true. So, how was it like writing a female character? Are your leads always females, or that was the first time writing a lead character, a lead woman character? Sorry.
Shockingly, after I wrote this book and I looked back, in most of my books, the females actually have strong roles that they play in the book, because even in the previous one, The Holiday, the woman is actually one of the heroes of the story as well. So even though there's also a male main character there, but what I've realized is that they are mostly they maybe being raised by a single mom contributed to me always seeking to show that strong feminine side.
Lovely. So, do you ever write male leads, or it's just female and male side by side? Have you ever written a book that is only maybe, let's say, the male POV?
The one I'm currently working on, there's two that I'm currently working on. So in those ones, it's male dominated leads. So it would be my first time whereby I have a male point of view, because even the first one, Twisted, it was a male initially, but then there was also a female side by side. So the two that I'm currently working on, those are male dominated leads.
So, which one do you think is better according to you, the male or writing the female? Because for us female authors, I feel like it's easier to write the female compared to the male. So, I want to know what it's like for you on your side. Which one is better to write?
So far with the ones that I'm currently working with, I'm trying my best to make sure that those characters will top what Tombi has done and the other females have done in the previous one. So it will be the readers that will decide which was the best for them. So as
I
from
mean,
my
for
side, I
for
think
you.
it's 50-50. I'm comfortable with writing both, but it's my first time whereby I'll be writing male dominated leads on these two books I'm busy with. So the readers will let me know how I wrote.
No problem. So, what has been people's reaction to the book, Dreams in Quantum? You know, having to read about a female taxi driver.
So the feedback has been very good with regards to Dreams in a Quantum, besides the female character, but even the other themes in the book as being self-sufficient, as trying to depend less on the system, but try and create our own wealth rather than being consumers, as becoming more of producers. So it has received quite good feedback.
Lovely. Um, so welcome to everybody who just joined. Kosi, I see your network is bad today, it's kicking you out. But yeah, welcome to everybody who just joined. We are having a book discussion with Thokozani. You are not that late. If you just joined, we are just almost halfway through the session. But yeah, we are having a book discussion with Thokozani, and we are discussing his latest book, Dreams in a Quantum. And for those who haven't pre-ordered my book, please do. The copies will be coming anytime from now, but latest end of this week. So let's talk about Mzi. Do you think he did everything that he did for people or for show off, or he was just somebody who liked nice things?
I think with Z, he was competing with his sister who was not competing with him. So whatever he was doing, he was always trying to be better than Tombi, and also to show off, to prove to his parents that he was the better child.
Mm. And that really backfired because he didn't seem happy even after all that show off.
Yeah, because the things he was doing, it was not things that were to make him happy. He was trying to impress other people. So there's one quote that I created that says, ultimately you are part of the world that you are trying to deceive. So in that process
Mm.
of trying to deceive the world, you're also deceiving yourself because you're not actually happy, but you're trying to show everyone that you're happy, but you're not. Then at the end of the day, that backfires on you.
Mm. And his thing of wanting to pay Lobola over online, what was that? Of wanting to do a virtual Lobola negotiation.
Yeah,
What was that?
so with regards to that, I was trying to say some of the things that we are doing now. Maybe it's time for us to look into going with the times, even though it could be as defeating the culture. Because what I've also discussed in the book is to say Lobola is our culture. However, the way it's being practiced now, it's not
Mm.
actually in its original form, because the Lobola process that we're using now was introduced by the gentleman Theophilus Shepstone in manner in which he was trying to break the blacks as per se too. So in order for me to lobola, let's say a Catherine, I'd need to pay 10 cows, and then in order for me to be able to pay those 10 cows, I'd have to leave my wife in the villages, come and work in the city to raise those
Mm.
funds. And then that's how broken families were created, because when I'm here in the city, I would get a mistress. Then now there's complications in the relationship. So the lobola we're practicing now, it's not in its original form. So if we could adapt to that, I think with the crime as well these days, as you can in the book, when Mtunzi wanted to lobola Ntombi by force now, it
Mm.
was a scam because they had planned to pay the lobola, then at a later time go and steal those cows back. So if we do things, some of the things virtually, such crimes could be avoided.
So, do you think it was done like that, or it is still done like that? When you're going to pay lobola, don't you need the woman's permission? Because we saw Mtunzi saying, "I'm going to go pay lobola," but she didn't talk to her. He just
Yes,
went. Is
yeah.
it
So,
still done like that?
what another thing that I wanted to show with Mtunzi doing that, in some areas there's still that practice called uktwala, whereby if there's a woman that I like, I would kidnap her, then take her home, and then my parents would then go to her family to inform the family to not report the case to the police as a missing person. However, it would be a issue of us starting the negotiations now to say how many cows does that family want. So that's what Mtunzi was trying to do.
And he also had the idea of paying lobola and then keeping her in the village while he does whatever he does. He was such a confused human being, Chef.
Yeah. So with Mtunzi, I think he had created a bond with Tombi from the village, but then when he got to Joburg and he got the wrong influences, He wanted another woman, but he was not prepared to lose Ntombi. So he wanted to keep Ntombi as his slave, and then still have his other mistresses in the town.
And I don't think he actually wanted another woman. I feel like he was just influenced into it, and he felt like less of a man if he didn't have a mistress, because at work they were like, your wife is also wherever she is. What if she's doing the same thing, and when you are here just being faithful, the next thing you will commit suitcase, Gandhi, she's also doing something. I wanted things like that. I feel like he was influenced, and he felt like if he doesn't follow that, he seems like less of a man. I think so.
Yeah, so he did get influenced by people. So I think I'll go back to saying it goes by person. So everyone will always be approached by people. So if you're going to be insecure about how many people might approach your partner, then you
Mm,
you won't have peace. You'll always have stress
yeah.
because
And
everyone will always see beauty in someone. Yeah.
yeah, Dombi seemed like a very beautiful and competent woman. And if she really wanted to, she would have done it, but she was faithful. And yeah, he was just I don't know what to even call it, because he just switched up. One moment he was this sweet man from the village, the next he just cannot control himself. He wants to be in a polygamous relationship. I'm like, hi bo, Lomfana.
Yeah, I think he was really misinfluenced by the people he was around. So they are the ones that led to the collapse of his relationship.
Mm.
So I think
And
had they stayed in the village, they would still be together today.
mm. And he had a good thing going on, man. He had this woman who was so focused on him, and she's this strong, ambitious person, and he just had to ruin it for the sake of just having fun and being out of the blue polygamous.
Yeah, so the city life really changed him in the wrong way.
Mm,
It changed him in a bad way because when they were in the villages, they would also talk about not indulging in alcohol a lot. But then when he got to the city, he felt that in order for him to be recognized as a man, he had to drink a lot to prove a point. So the city life
mm.
changed him.
So, do you think it changed him, or it just revealed a part of him that that couldn't? How do I put it? A part of him that was just hidden as somebody who was in the villages. Because even the way he talked to Ndombi, he was harsher, and I was like, was this always there, or?
I think with regards to that, we I wouldn't say it revealed who he is because when he was in the village, we did not dig deep into his character as to see if there's any hints of him being an abusive partner. So another thing I wanted to show there is that with males, there's no one that always checks up on us to say, how are you doing and all of that. So
Mm,
once everything becomes too much, that's when you seek protection from the wrong things. Then you end up
mm,
digging yourself into deeper trouble. So I wouldn't say alcohol revealed who he was or the money revealed who he was. So I would say maybe
mm.
he was just a victim of circumstance.
Yeah. And let's talk about Mzi and his depression. Do you think that had Ndombi talked to him, things wouldn't have ended the way they did?
So I think with Mzee, he had blind pride. And Tombi had tried speaking to him and helping him a few times, but because Ntombi was not educated and he was the smarter one, he wouldn't have taken the advice from Ntombi. After all, Ntombi was just a taxi driver, so he wouldn't have taken
Mm.
advice from her.
But then, how do we help such people according to your own understanding? Because if they have so much pride that they don't listen to people that they think are not educated, then how do we avoid these things happening, like, how it ended with Mzi? I don't want to spoil the book for others.
Yeah, so it's very hard to help people like that because according to them, they don't need help. So you can't help someone that does not think they need help. So you
Mm,
can, if it's your sibling or your friend, you can try to speak to them, but then you can only do so much.
mm.
So if Z is prepared to drown in debt, you can't be going to the banks and asking them to decline his offers. If according to the system he qualifies, then he'll qualify
Yeah.
to get into debt. Yeah.
And another thing, he couldn't be happy for other people. He couldn't be happy for his sister. I remember when he bought a house, he's like, let me buy a house before Ndombi buys a house. Let me get married before Ndombi gets married. He's just in a competition. And I feel like that is what people do these days. People are in a competition with other people, but in a one-sided competition. With, okay, let me do this before Smang Mang does it. And the next thing, you have it, but you're not happy with it. I really love that you
Yeah.
showed that.
The problem there is that you're not doing those things because it's in your goals or it's something that you really wanted. You trying to do it at a quick pace to make sure that you get the shine before that person. And with that person, they're not competing with you. So they've planned that. And once they achieve it, it's what they wanted. So you end up doing things that you're not really into because you want to
Mm.
beat that person to those stuff.
But then you rush to get married. Then what? What's next? You get a child before that person.
Yeah, so that's what Mtunzi was doing. He wanted to impress his parents in the wrong way. And Mam Kumal was actually a good woman. So he loved her children in the same way. So irrespective of what they have achieved, she wouldn't have judged Tunzi, but Tunzi
Mm.
was doing his own stuff.
And I love that he was keeping up with the current, as much as she was born when those things were not there, but she was trying to understand her children from where they come from. Even with Ndombi, she didn't try to push her to Umtunzu, which, no, but you have a child with this man, maybe you should stick with him. He was like, no. She was like, no, just if you feel like it's not for you, just let it go. I really loved how she was not the umfazi uyabekezela kind of mother.
Yeah, that's true. But Mam Kumalo is also a bit sneaky based on the secret that they kept from Babu Kumalo, but I'll reserve my comments on that.
She was trying to save her child. So, what's one thing you wished people could take away from the book?
From the book, I want people to be inspired, to try and realize that there's a lot of ways in which we can make money out there, and also to change perceptions because currently there's a lot of perceptions. So there's also a way in that book I show that the way in which we treat our fellow Africans as compared to big stores is completely different. So if I see an old woman selling a rank or on the streets, I'd always want a bargain, want to be given discounts. But when I go to the store, that's the price they're giving me. And if it's month end, I'm even prepared to say, keep the change. But why can't I do that to a fellow African? So I want such perceptions to change to say, if I'm prepared to say, keep the change at bigger chain stores, then let me do the same to a fellow African.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, how do you deal with criticism or negative feedback from readers?
So there's constructive criticism, then there's just negative criticism. So if there's constructive criticism whereby the person would point out what they did not like and it's something that I can improve on, I take that gladly and I work on that. But then with some of the criticism, it would be maybe a person is having a bad day, so they're just criticizing you for the sake of criticizing. So if you're just going to say the book is boring or you did not like the book, but you're not giving me the reasons as to what you did not like, then there's nothing I can do with that feedback. It's just about me taking the positive feedback I'm getting from those other readers and continuing with that because not everyone will like what you're doing. So
Yeah.
you'll always get, if you're going to bash what I've done, but you're giving me reasons, then that's a learning curve because we need to keep on learning. But if you just criticizing for the sake of criticizing, then I just ignore such negativity.
So, do you write to educate or to entertain?
It's both. So I write to entertain and to educate. Then if I can achieve both in one book, then I'm happy. Then if it's one of the two, then I'm still happy.
So, if you were to rank how men behave nowadays or to compare with any of the characters in the book, Dreams in a Quantum, who will be their umbrella character?
So I think most guys would like to be like Gazi, and a lot of ladies as well that has given me feedback really liked the Gazi character. They all wanted to have their own Gazi, yeah.
Mm.
And then when it comes to men in the village, some are still towards the Bab Kumalo vibes, whereby they don't want to be told anything by a woman, and some are still like that. So it's a matter of them trying to adapt to the world.
Yeah. So tell us about your current projects. What should we expect in the future from you?
So when I write, I always try to come up with something new. So the one that I'm currently busy with is a psychological thriller. So
Mm-hmm.
it, it's going good so far. I'm liking the storyline, and I think people will relate to it. They will really enjoy it. I don't want to spoil it for them and say what it is about, but then once it's almost done, I'll start sharing the synopsis of the book as well as the cover.
Okay, so should we expect it this year or next year?
So the psychological thriller, you can expect it next year. Hopefully this year I will release the other contemporary fiction. Hopefully later
Okay,
this year.
lovely. So for those who joined late, kindly tell us more about your books and where to get them. I think others joined after you had mentioned that.
Okay,
And
so
please also tell us the prices.
okay, no problem. So my books, Twisted, Lost in Love, The Holiday, those you can get on most online bookstores, and So if you're going through exclusive books, it's print on demand, so you can just order it through them, then they will be able to produce it to you within 2 or 3 days. Then with regards to those prices, uh, Twisted, Lost in Love, and The Holiday, those are going for 230, including couriering when you're buying it directly from me. However, when you're getting it from the stores, they charging their different prices. So I think on Take a Lot, the last time I checked, they were retailing at about 400 and something. And then they also available as ebooks directly from me. And you can also get them as ebooks on all those major bookstores. And then Dreams in a Quantum, you can get it directly from me so far for 280, including couriering. And it's also available as an ebook as well. Then you can reach me on my social network handles. On Facebook, it's Thokozani Christopher Sicwebu. The same for X, formerly known as Twitter. It's Thokozani Christopher Sicwebu. And also on TikTok, it's Thokozani Chris Sicwebu.
Lovely. So I hear you are saying your books are available in ebooks. Why are you publish book in ebook format?
I beg your pardon?
Why are you selling a published book in ebook format? Are you not scared that people are just going to share it around? Because if people can get it in ebook, it will be difficult for other people to buy it in physical format, because somebody can just put it on those websites where everybody else can download them. Or you haven't thought about that?
Yeah, so what I believe in is that you really can't, if someone wants to pirate something or do something illegal, it's hard to stop them. So as much as I always see on TikTok with all those WhatsApp groups sharing ebooks and stuff, it's hard for you to stop them. But then if they're going to be sharing it, then that's more exposure. Then that exposure ends up, even though initially it might hurt me as per se, it also leads to exposure. So the next time I release something, I might release it without releasing the ebook. Then, because they've already had a taste of what this writer brings to the table, then they would be tempted to say, this is no more available on ebook, so let me go and get that hard copy. So it's a win-win situation, but you can't really stop them when they want to do that, because once someone has gotten it and maybe they have a lot of followers on their WhatsApp groups or anything, if they've managed to get your hard copy, they can still type it and then release that PDF to share that to their people. So if someone wants to misbehave, it's hard to stop them.
Yeah, I hear you, but I wouldn't advise it, hey? Because the team that pirates books or that gets book from there, they never buy. That team, they never buy hard copies. They just get them for free. And there are people who will read your work and move on with their life. They will read and you stop existing to them. So I wouldn't advise it, especially for hard copies, because the moment you release a book, they're going to go to their people and go buy the PDF. One person will buy and distribute to 1,000 people. So I really wouldn't advise it. But of course, it's your book. You can do whatever that you always do, but I wouldn't advise it, especially for published books. It will make it hard for you to sell physical copies if people can just get the PDF. Because those people, they know where to get them. They have their site where they will be like, go buy one copy. They buy from you and put it there for thousands, which is not fair. And it's not fair for authors, because that is our bread and butter. That is how we make a living. And we want to be able to focus on this only, not having multiple jobs and being authors, things like that.
Yeah, no, really agree.
Okay, I hope you guys had a lovely time with Thokozani. If you have any questions for him, sorry, I don't know why I said that. If you have any questions for him, please send them through and I will read them out for you. So, if you published in 2012, when did you start writing?
So I started writing in 2009, just writing to pass time. Then one of my colleagues convinced me to say, no, you actually have something good going. Why don't you start taking this seriously? Then that's when I decided
Mm.
to write my first novel and take it seriously.
Um, because there's no Chris character in the book, but there is Tunzi character. Is the Mtuzi character based on you or just namesake? But there's no Chris. I don't know where you got Chris. We don't have a Chris character in the book, Kosi. I don't know. Maybe did we make a mistake and say Chris? But no, Chris is
No.
his name. Yeah, there is no Chris character. So which character in the book do you think you relate to the most?
I would say I would relate to Gazi based on the way in which he carries himself and the way he views women. And then with regards to drive and determination, I would be in Tombi's shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So, because he's asking, is the character based on you, or is just a character?
No, it's just a character.
Mm. Somebody's saying, I'm so tired of accommodating book club members who can't buy authorized copies of books. Yeah, it's said to have a book club where you expect to support authors and then people just go on their sites and download books. It's not really fun. It's really not fun. If anyone else has a question, please send your question through. If anyone else has a question, if you want to. So, for those who want to buy your book, Dreams in a Quantum, how much does it cost again?
It's 280 Rand, including couriering.
Lovely. So, for those who want to buy Dreams in a Quantum, you can buy it directly from Thokozani for 280, right? Including
Yes.
delivery. Yeah. So as a self-published author, do you like have a team that you work with in terms of editing and proofreading, or you do all that yourself?
So with the previous books, there was a company I was using in the UK, but with Dreams in a Quantum, I did everything myself.
Mm. So how was it like shifting from working with the company to working by yourself?
It was more or less still the same because mostly with that company, they would when they were proofreading and editing, they would then send the copy back to you with whatever they felt was an error or something you need to clarify. They would have it highlighted, so I would still be reading the whole book again and re-editing it again with those highlights they had brought to my attention. So I was already
Mhm.
familiar with that process, and so I thought with this one, let me go independent.
So you had to pay them for their services, or they were just helping you?
Yes, I had to pay them. Yeah.
Okay. The name of the book is Dreams in a Quantum by Thokozani Christopher Sicwebu. I hope you got that.
Yes, it's correct.
Do we have any more question? I think I just sent somebody an invite by mistake. Do you have any more questions? Do we have any more questions? So are you like a full-time author or do you have a day job?
I have a daytime job as well.
Okay.
I juggle with the writing.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, I think that's it for today. We don't have any more questions. Thank you so much, Thokozani. Thank you for taking your time. It was lovely getting to know you and getting to know about your book. Dumbelo, your question just came in as we were wrapping up. How did the industry receive you when you released your first book back in 2012?
The feedback I got with that particular book was surprising and quite encouraging as well, because most of the feedback I received for that book were from the Scandinavian countries as well as New Zealand, and I don't know anyone from those countries. So seeing a lot of sales coming from those countries inspired me a lot to say, okay, I'm now international. So yeah, it was quite encouraging.
So, how far apart are your books?
So they were 2 years apart. So after 20, so the A Student was released in 2012. Then I had to re-release it in 2014 because of
Mm.
the title. Then in 2016 I released Lost in Love. Then in 2020 I released The Holiday. Then in 2024 I released Dreams in a Quantum.
Lovely. So, how long does it take you to write and finish a book?
So it varies because of multiple things that I have to juggle, be it the daytime job, the sport as well. So because I play cricket as well, so there's a
Mm.
few times I broke a few bones on my in my hand and fingers, so I could not type, and the pain. So it varies.
Mm.
So there's no given time frame, but I
Yeah.
try and ensure that within a year I've finished writing a book. Then I start reading it again to edit it or see things I might have missed and gaps. Then
Mm.
write again and edit those. Yeah,
All right. What inspired you to write your first book?
it was my colleagues, because as I said before, I was just writing for fun. But then once they
Mm.
said, I have something, then let me give it a try. That's what inspired me, and I wanted to write something that would also entertain me if I was to read it as well.
Mm. I really love the friends that see the talent. I feel like most of us started because our friends pushed us through it. They'll be like, no, you're good. Just continue writing. You are good. Like, do it. Where was it set? Twisted, that is.
Twisted is set in Gauteng, more specifically in Boysens, Southgate, Mondio, and Southgate. Those are the main areas. Yeah.
All right. So what is Twisted about?
Uh, Twisted is about young men that go out clubbing, and then on their way back home, they are approached by this Asian lady who stops them and asks them if they would like a quick pay for a small job that she wants them to execute for her, only to find out that the Asian lady wanted them to go and bury her husband that she had murdered. Then one of
Hmm.
the young men end up being kidnapped by this woman, and they try to escape with his friends, but his friends also end up being murdered through the night. And by the time morning comes, he's the sole survivor, and this woman ends up kidnapping him, making him stay there by force. Then they end up having children together with this Asian lady, and those children, when they decide to have those children, it's for them to try and make right whatever they had done wrong. So one of the twins, because it was two twin brother, it was a set of twins. So one of those twins murders their own brother by mistake. Then that young twin grows up. When he grows up, he gets married to a young lady who becomes a detective, and that twin brother ends up becoming a serial killer in the area, and his wife is tasked to investigate the serial killer in the area. So the wife doesn't know it's the husband that's the serial killer. So she's actually sleeping next to the serial killer she's investigating.
Evan, it seems like a lot is going on.
Yeah.
A lot.